Here are, in my opinion, the top 10 characters from Stranger Things. Before I get into the list, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not saying that these characters are my 10 favorite. I'm saying these are what the 10 characters I consider to be the best from the show. Now, there's two things I'm taking into consideration when I consider them for any of these spots in the top 10. Number one is how well written the character is. It doesn't matter how much they're in the plot. Sometimes it does matter if they're not in it enough or they're in it too much. Can either hurt or help them depending on the type of character and how much involvement they have. The second consideration I'm taking into consideration is acting, how well acted the character is. So those are the two things I'm taking in consideration when considering these characters for the best. Acting and how well the character's written. Two characters I left off this list is Joyce and Eleven. Joyce was really good in the first two seasons but fell off. And Eleven was really good in season 1 and some of the other seasons, but sometimes I just really didn't like her, and other times I really liked her. And it's kind of crazy for me not to have her on this list. I probably should have, maybe above some of the other ones like 10 through 8, but I left her off the list. Crazy. I'm a fool. Maybe. Coming in at number 10, I have Derek. Dude, everybody loves delightful Derek. He came in for one season, but he was really good. He has one of the fastest character developments in the show. He saw one Demogorgon and switched up immediately, which is which is quite refreshing from all the other characters taking season or seasons to get to where they are, even though they've seen a bunch of the stuff and it's just like, nah, I don't believe that. You've seen 50 million Demogorgons. What do you mean you don't believe it? So it's refreshing that Derek came in and did that. And he's funny, and he's the right amount of an annoyance to other characters in a pest to make him good. And he's stuck at the Vecna. Coming in at number 9, I have Lucas. To me, I never thought, after watching the season, Lucas is... he was one of the best characters from the season, like top 3 or whatever. But I've never thought Lucas was bad in any of the seasons or episodes. Both the acting and the writing have been very consistent for Lucas. So he's just been like this the entire show through all 5 seasons, which is a hard feat to do because I feel like a lot of the characters go up and down, but not Lucas. He is staying very consistent. That's good acting and that's good writing. My only thing is maybe at times I wish he would be more involved in the plot or do more. So that's a little hinge in the writing, but besides that, super consistent. That's why I believe he's deserving of the 9 spot. Coming in number 8, I have Hopper. If this was the first 2 seasons or even the third, I'd have him in the top 3 easy. Because in season 1 and season 2, he's absolutely outstanding of a character. So amazing, like easily top 2 for me each of those seasons. Because he's tremendous. But to me, he kind of changes in 3. And then I lose interest in him, and I don't think he's as good. In 4 and 5, he drops off even more, where I'm like, not that good. Where he's just kind of doing the same thing with like being overprotective with Elle and like controlling and like being whiny and a brat. And it's like, it was good to have that in season 2 because you understand why he's being protective. But it got old very quickly, and I just think the writing fell off for me after a little bit in season 3, and definitely in 4 and 5. Coming in at number 7, I have Eddie, another one-hit wonder. The acting was really, really good. And now he's, in Marvel in the Fantastic Four. So Eddie's acting was very well, which brought him really high. And the writing for him was pretty good. So we get kind of this rocker, heavy metal guy who's also a geek, but a little misunderstood. And he's got his own trauma. And then he got to sacrifice himself, whether it was warranted or not. So the acting helps out a lot, in my opinion, for Eddie. Number 6, I have Holly. I don't know, this may be controversial to have Holly in the top 10, but I don't care because I think the acting for Holly is incredible. I've said this many times. I think it's one of the best acting performances from one of the children we have seen or have had in Stranger Things. Like, legitimately. I think she's, maybe besides Max and Winona Ryder, the best actress from the show. Not to say the other ones are bad. They're all pretty good. But to me, just Holly surprised me in how good her acting really is. And then she was very involved in the final season. So that gave a lot of weight to the writing. Now you can argue how good, and maybe there's some issues with her age and all with the writing. But how clutch she came in season 5 and her acting, to me, she's got to be on the list. Number 5, I have Dustin. I absolutely love Dustin. Dustin was amazing in the first 3 seasons. I think he went down a little bit in 4, and to me, he went down even more in 5. Maybe the main reason is he's not in the plot as much. That was one of the things that kind of take into consideration with writing, and that was one of my issues. I think Dustin's acting is not as good as maybe some of the others on the top 10. Still good. Don't get me wrong. All the actors really in Stranger Things are really good. But just so the acting's not carrying him as much. But one of the things that separates Dustin's character from some of the others is how real the character feels. And that's in part to do with his relationships. Because he has an actual relationship, or have had screen time with a lot more characters than pretty much anybody else. So he has a relationship with all those characters. So he feels so much real. Because we kind of see them together in big groups. The only one is maybe Jonathan. He's had interactions with all those. I mean, you see them in big groups sometimes. But even then, you assume, off screen they actually all know each other. But, for sure with Dustin, and it feels like he does. Because he has a relationship, and you've seen that with all the different characters. Number 4, I have Vecna. I love Vecna's character. Right? We see him in season 4. He gets introduced. Chilling. And then I love him as a character, and him in his human form, and him being number 1, that makes sense. And then also Mr. What's-It, I really like him as Mr. What's-It. It's that retro kind of creepy vibe, and I really like that. And he's a very chilling villain. I think he's one of the better villains that we've seen, especially from last year. The acting for it is absolutely tremendous. He plays that character so well, the actor, where it's that gives you just that amount of creepiness, but while still being evil. And he is evil because they kind of, I think it was 11, that was you're broken, me, and or can't remember who was, maybe Will. And it was I saw your past, and you have that trauma, and that's not fair to you. And he's you can do good now. And he's like, nah, I'm evil. I made that choice. I'm evil. And I'm like, okay, yes, be evil. Pure evil. Slay Vecna. Coming in at number 3, I have Max. That may be some recency bias with how much she got written into both season 5 and 4. She had a huge part in both seasons, so I've seen her a lot. But her acting is really good. One of the best in this show. So her acting's really good, and she got written into a lot in the big plot. And she also has a lot of emotional ties with her. She got introduced in season 2 very well. We get emotional tie, like she's scared with from her brother in season 2, but when he dies in season 3, we get that emotional tie. Boom. Then in season 4, we see her depressed and like fighting for her life against Vecna. Emotional ties. Boom. And then in season 5, we see her trying to escape and help Holly and like give her that pep talk, really. Boom. Emotional tie. So she portrays a lot of emotion, more than most of the characters, in multiple times in like back to back to back seasons. So boom, boom, boom. So there's a lot of emotion behind her character. And her acting's absolutely tremendous. Can't wait to see her in Spider-Man. So that gives her a big boost in one of the best characters from Stranger Things. Coming in at number 2, I have Steve, the babysitter. A lot of the things I said about Dustin applies to Steve. He actually has a relationship, and we've seen screen time and interactions with a lot of the character. So we see he feels more real and more lively for a lot of the things. And his character development is great. And yes, he was a douchebag, right? But he did that well. Even then, in season 1, I didn't dislike him, because he was written to be a douchebag, and he played the douchebag, so he's a good douchebag. But and then he developed and one of the good things about him was his development was predetermined. Most people say he developed in season 2, but really he developed throughout at season 1 at the end, which kind of set up to his elevated development in season 2, because we saw that he erased the thing on the movie theater, and then him with Nancy, like Christmas, he's with her and he's being nice. So he develops at the end of season 1, and that kind of leads into his elevated, exemplified development in season 2. So he has great development, great acting, great relationships, feels very lively and a lived character. Coming in at number 1, I have Dr. Brenner. His character is so well written. He's such a great villain. He's chilling, right? And he's pure evil. And he seems sweet and nice at times, but it's purely manipulative. You think, oh, maybe he's having a development in season 4? Nah, he's manipulating. Boom, he stabs Dr. Owens in the back, because really all he cares about is the weapon. And like we see that, and his acting for it is the perfect actor for that role. So whereas, and there's almost no flaws in his writing, whereas Vecna, you could argue there's flaws, and even the Mind Flayer, there's flaws in their writing a little bit. But to me, Dr. Brenner, there's no flaws in his writing. He's pure evil, right? And he's manipulative. And it's acted so well, the manipulation, where you think, oh, he might actually care about 11. No, he does not. It is purely manipulative for his own gain so he can get those weapons. That may be a little controversial, I don't know, as Dr. Brenner, but number one. But for me, I genuinely think Dr. Brenner is the best character from Stranger Things. Alrighty, that was my list of what I thought or think is the 10 best characters from Stranger Things. Once again, these are not my 10 favorite. These are the characters I think are the 10 best. If you disagree and think other characters are better or worse, or maybe some characters I didn't have on this list that should be on the list, sorry, phone again. Feel free to let me know down. Shut up, phone! Oh my gosh, I should have muted that a while ago. Now I'm yapping. I'm trying to say, if you disagree or whatever, feel free to leave in the comments. I'd love to discuss it with you. And I think I'm going to end the video here. I'll catch you later. Have a good one.